Alan Watts once said that awakening isn't something you can share, not because it's secret, but because it's like trying to pour the ocean into a teacup. And I've felt that too. The moment you glimpse what's behind the veil, when ordinary consciousness slips, and something vast, quiet, and alive begins to shine through, you want to tell everyone. You want to grab your closest friends and say, "Look, it's all right here. We've been looking in the wrong direction the whole time." But what you get in return is polite nods, concerned glances, and a quiet sense that maybe you've gone a bit strange. I remember the first time I felt it. Not a thought, not a belief, but a shift, like the world exhaled and I was no longer separate from it. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It was like slipping into warm water and realizing you'd been cold your whole life without knowing it. I tried to explain it to someone I loved. I used metaphors, stories, even silence. But none of it landed, and I realized awakening isn't an idea. It's not a recipe or a technique or a concept you can pass from one mind to another. It's the difference between reading about swimming and being in the water. You can describe the temperature, the sensation, the movement, but until someone dives in, they won't know what it means to float. Watts told the story of a man who had a profound spiritual experience. He was walking in the garden one evening, and suddenly everything became transparent. He saw that he wasn't a separate being walking through a garden, but that the entire process of gardening was happening. No walker, no garden, just walking, gardening as one movement. He rushed to tell his wife, and she said, "That's nice, dear. Don't forget to take out the rubbish." She couldn't receive what he was trying to give because she hadn't had the experience. And how could she? It's like trying to explain the color red to someone born blind. You can talk about wavelengths. You can describe how it makes you feel. You can compare it to fire, to roses, to blood. But you can't give them the direct experience of redness. And awakening is even more subtle than that. It's not just a color. It's the absence of separation, the collapse of the story of me. And that is not something you can wrap in words. When you insist on sharing your awakening, you begin to sound like you're bragging. "I've seen the truth. I understand what life is really about." And in that moment, you've created a division. You've placed yourself here as the awakened one, and the other person over there as the one who still sleeps. But the very insight you're trying to share is that there is no division, no separation, no you and them. And so, the more you speak, the more you contradict what you've seen. The awakened person learns to be quiet, not out of false modesty, but because they understand that words are just fingers pointing at the moon. And most people, when you point, become fascinated by the finger. They want the method, the secret, the practice. They want to know what you did to get there, as if awakening were a destination, as if it were something you earned. But awakening didn't happen because you did something. It happened when you stopped doing and simply saw what was already there. It's like remembering something you never forgot, like waking up from a dream you didn't know you were having. And once you've seen it, you realize that trying to explain it is like trying to describe silence with noise. So you stop. You breathe. You live. You become a little more still, a little more ordinary. And in that ordinariness, something sacred begins to shine. You stop trying to convince. You stop trying to prove. You stop trying to be understood, and you trust that those who are ready will find their own way to the water. You begin to realize that presence speaks louder than explanation, that peace is more contagious than persuasion, that your stillness is more useful than your words. And so you walk quietly, not hiding, but not announcing either, just living, just being. This is just the beginning. In part 2, we'll explore why even the practices that helped you awaken might mislead others, and why seeing through someone's illusions doesn't mean you should speak. If this resonates, stay close, subscribe, and walk with me through this quiet unfolding. We're not here to teach, we're here to remember. Together.